All right, we're at the Dorazio house, and the current scope of work is to replace all the flashings. I want to preface this video by saying that if anybody disagrees, I'd be more than happy to meet them out on the property and see if they can do it better, because I guarantee you can't. So before I even get into the scope of work, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to measure the shingle. And Luca, cameraman, if you can come in here. This is a 37-inch shingle. It is 100% discontinued. There is manufacturer's letters that say you cannot mix the newer shingles with this shingle that's on this roof right now. So now, with that out of the way, because I know that doesn't matter to insurance companies, even though it's manufacturer's instructions, we're going to do a repair attempt. This apron is what we're being asked to replace, and if you come up underneath here and you look, you'll see that it's actually chemically fastened with caulking to the step into this shingle underneath. So while ripping this apron out, we're gonna definitely damage this shingle, and so I think this area is a good spot to do it because it's already gonna get tore up anyway when we do the current scope of work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick the shingle directly to the right of it, because I already know what's going to happen here. This is going to be miserable, and if it rains, I really don't want there to be any issues around the flashing. So I'm going to pick this shingle right next to it. I'm going to do a simulated repair. I'm going to pull the shingle out and I'm going to put it back in, and what that's doing is basically showing that, hey, if we have to do patchwork around any of the skylights you guys paid for, this apron, this is what's going to happen to that shingle. So I'm going to get started now. I'm using the proper roofing tools, using a 16-ounce roofing hammer and an easy swing roofing bar. First thing I got to do is break the seal to all the shingles. One thing to look out for when you're doing this is if there's any material transfer that occurs. So once I get the sealant up, see how brittle this is? It already ripped right here. Just started, guys. Get this up all the way. I need to break the 4 shingles above it as well. Every shingle, guys, adjusters, if you didn't know, is not only nailed on the nail zone, but is also nailed on this shingle's nail zone if it's installed properly. So I have to break the seals on these 2 and these 2 shingles. I'm going to do that right now. Now that I got everything up and loose, first thing I'm going to do is look for nails, because I need to get all the nails out. I got one right here. So basically I'm just going to pull this nail up, slap the shingle down, pop the nail out. Pretty standard. And if you know what you're doing, it'll come out like that. This nail pulled through, so I'm actually gonna have to reach up under here and get it. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do that everywhere. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. 5, and every nail on this pulled through, so I'm just lifting, popping it from underneath. 6. All right, now you get the first row of nails out. The shingle is installed properly, because as you can see, all these nails are out. I'm pulling on it and it's still fastened to the roof, so I got to take out the second row of nails, starting with this one, which is already, every single one of these is pulled through from wind, but I won't even get into that. So I actually have to get up underneath there and manually dig all these out from wind. You can see wind has definitely lifted this roof up in the past. All of the fasteners are rusted, so if wind didn't, none of the fasteners would be rusted. It's still a little sealed right here. that. Pulling through. Alright. Let's see if we're loose yet. One more. I was able to get that one out the right way. Boom, shingles out. Like I said, you gotta remove all 4 seals because there's 2 rows of nails on every single thing. So the first thing we're gonna do is just take a look and see if there's any material transfer. Basically what material transfer is when you go to break the seals, sometimes the sealing is so good it sticks better to the other shingle than the shingle it was put on, and it will leave holes. So, and that's definitely damage. That's a hole in the shingle. So if we look here, you can see this one right here up close. It's about a 4-inch hole from material transfer. Over here is another one. Let's look up under here and see. I don't want to take these shingles too high. I don't want to damage them or anything like that. So I'm gonna be very careful with how I do this. But yeah, there's some big holes up on the other side of here, but just to be safe, we're not even going to show you because we don't want to damage anything. If we look down here too, you can see there's another tear right here, just showing how brittle these shingles are. I mean, seriously, they're extremely brittle. So at this point, it's just like the shingles are discontinued. We're not going to put in an incompatible product into this roof. So to simulate the repair, I'm going to put the exact same shingle back in and we're going to see what happens. So here goes nothing. Alright. There's no correct way to do the lower course or the upper course when doing a repair. Either way, you got to do the exact same thing. I prefer to start with the upper course, so that's what I'm going to do. So I got to get this nail in right here. And basically where the old nail holes are, I'm going directly left or right to them. All right, right here. Yeah, I gotta lift it up more. All right, right here. I'm being very careful while doing this too. Extremely careful. I am trying to not raise this shingle at all if I can. Just ripped. You guys saw that. I literally went to raise it to put the nail in. It cleanly ripped right there. There's the end of the shingle right here. So I gotta put that nail in. But this is what I'm talking about when we say that roofs aren't repairable. I did nothing out of the ordinary there, and that clearly ripped. Now we got to do the lower course of nails. Again, I'm just going to start on the left side and just work my way down. So I need to put one right about here. Again, not doing anything out of the ordinary. This is 100% how you patch in a dimensional shingle on a roof. Right there. Last nail. All right, now that's done. All the nails are in place. What we're gonna do is just give a solid wipe on the top of these just to simulate what the wind's gonna do to it over the next few months. And you'll see, I already know, I've been doing this long enough, all these shingles are gonna be creased up. All right, and just so you know, if I did that to any other shingle on this roof, you saw the granules loose there. If I did this up here, nothing happens. I mean, nothing like what's happening down here. If you guys look, this whole entire shingle is creased up along here, runs through here. This shingle is creased up. This tab, I believe, is starting to become loose, but that's completely creased up here. Same thing down here. You can see when I shake it, all the granules have fallen off right here. This is creased up. And not to mention, now there's massive tears because these are not pliable at all. And that's a solid 4-inch tear right there. So, our expert opinion, but the obvious consensus here is this roof isn't repairable. A, because the shingle wasn't made and the manufacturer literally says don't mix the new products with the old. And B, a lot more damage occurs. For every one shingle you attempt to repair, you damage 4 in the process. So it's basically a chain reaction that inevitably would total out the whole roof. So that's our video, and the guy's last name is
Dorazio.
Mr. Dorazio's residence. Please reach out if you have any questions. Thanks.